Welcome to your NFL Daily Brief, all the hits, none of the fluff. Like and subscribe to stay updated. Caleb Williams performed well in his preseason debut, completing 6 of 10 passes for 107 yards and a touchdown in 2 series.
Williams connected with tight ends Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland for significant gains and threw a 36-yard touchdown pass to Olamide Zaccheaus.
The Bears' offense scored a touchdown on their opening drive, a stark contrast to last season when they failed to score any opening drive touchdowns.
The Bills rested most of their starters, contributing to the Bears' success.
The Jaguars' offense showed improvement after a penalty-ridden scrimmage, with Trevor Lawrence completing 8 of 10 passes for 76 yards and 1 touchdown.
Lawrence also lost a fumble due to a mishap with his left guard.
The Saints' quarterback competition remains close, with both Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shaw showing potential.
Rattler finished with 199 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception.
Jackson Dart impressed for the Giants, throwing for 137 yards and 1 touchdown while adding another rushing touchdown.
The Jets' passing offense struggled, with Justin Fields completing only 1 of 6 passes.
The Buccaneers saw touchdown passes from Teddy Bridgewater to Bucky Irving and Emeka Egbuka.
The Steelers' run defense was strong, while their own running game struggled.
Rams quarterback Stetson Bennett had a productive game, throwing for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Chargers rookie receivers Keandre Lambert-Smith and Trey Harris made impressive catches.
Tyler Loop solidified his role as the Ravens' kicker after a strong performance.
Cowboys quarterback Joe Milton struggled, raising questions about the backup quarterback position.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have acquired defensive tackle Colin Saunders from the New Orleans Saints in exchange for center Luke Fortner.
The Jaguars' interior defensive line has been a weakness for the past 2 seasons, prompting this trade.
The team had hoped to improve with Eric Armstead moving inside and Mawson Smith developing further.
However, Armstead is dealing with a back injury, and Smith recently came off the physically unable to perform list.
Veteran Davon Hamilton has also not performed at his 2022 level due to a previous back infection.
Saunders is entering his 7th season, with previous experience playing for the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints.
He was drafted by the Chiefs in the 3rd round of the 2019 draft.
Saunders boasts career stats of 6.5 sacks and 181 tackles, along with 2 Super Bowl titles with the Chiefs.
Last season against the Chiefs, he notably had a 37-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Saunders started for the Saints in their recent preseason game against the Jaguars.
His extended playing time, coupled with Nathan Shepard's absence, hinted at a potential roster change.
Fortner, a 2022 third-round pick for the Jaguars, played every snap in his rookie year and the following season.
However, his performance dipped, leading to his replacement by Mitch Morse and later Robert Hainsey.
The Jaguars also drafted center Jonah Monheim in the 7th round of the 2024 draft.
This trade signifies the Jaguars' continued efforts to reinforce their defensive line.
The news of the trade was initially reported by the National Football League network.
The Houston Texans have traded wide receiver John Mechie III to the Philadelphia Eagles.
In return, the Texans received tight end Harrison Bryant and a 5th-round draft pick.
This trade comes after the Texans lost tight end Brevin Jordan to a season-ending knee injury.
The Texans now have more reliable depth at the tight end position with Dalton Schultz and Cade Stover.
John Mechie has played in 29 games, accumulating 40 receptions for 412 yards and 1 touchdown.
He missed his entire rookie season due to leukemia treatment after being drafted in the 2nd round of the 2022 draft.
Mechie led the Texans receivers this preseason with 53 receiving yards in 2 games.
However, he was positioned as the 5th wide receiver on Houston's depth chart.
The Texans' leading receivers are Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel.
Mechie also offered limited special teams value, unlike Braxton Berrios, who is a kick return specialist.
In Philadelphia, Mechie joins a strong receiving core led by A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith.
The Eagles' receiving group also includes Jahan Dotson and Johnny Wilson.
Smith and Mechie were teammates at Alabama, winning a national championship together in 2020.
The Eagles aimed to bolster their receiving depth with Mechie's unique skill set.
Harrison Bryant, now with the Texans, is entering his 6th National Football League season.
Bryant has recorded 98 receptions for 877 yards and 10 touchdowns in his career.
Cleveland Browns quarterback Dillon Gabriel clarified his in-game interview comment was not directed at teammate Shedeur Sanders.
Following his preseason debut against the Philadelphia Eagles, Gabriel was asked about handling the quarterback competition pressure.
He stated there are entertainers and there are competitors, focusing on his role as a competitor.
Social media interpreted his entertainer's comment as a reference to Shedeur Sanders, who has garnered significant media attention.
Sanders was a fifth-round draft pick while Gabriel was selected 2 rounds earlier.
Gabriel later clarified that he refers to the media as entertainers, a term he has used previously.
He emphasized his focus is on the team and that each player has their respective job.
Sanders did not play in Saturday's game due to an oblique injury.
He had an impressive preseason debut the previous week, throwing for 2 touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers.
The Browns have 4 quarterbacks competing for the starting position: Gabriel, Sanders, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett.
Joe Flacco has consistently received first-team reps in practice.
Head coach Kevin Stefanski indicated a decision on the starting quarterback is imminent.
He stated the decision would be made after discussing with the players.
Stefanski hopes both Sanders and Pickett can increase their practice participation this week.
Pickett has been sidelined with a hamstring injury since July 26.
The Browns' final preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams will serve as a dress rehearsal with starters expected to play.
Travis Hunter missed his second preseason game due to an upper body injury.
This raises concerns about his ability to play both cornerback and wide receiver.
Jaguars coach Liam Cohen held Hunter out of Friday as walkthrough as a precaution.
Hunter was present at the practice with a play sheet alongside the wide receivers coach.
Several other key Jaguars players were also ruled out of the preseason tie against New Orleans.
These included starters like Anton Harrison, Chuma Edoga, and Tyson Campbell.
Key reserves such as Cole Van Lanen, Monteric Brown, and Jalen McLeod were also sidelined due to injuries.
Dennis Gardeck and Diami Brown also did not play in the game.
Hunter has been practicing on both offense and defense throughout training camp.
He participated in a substantial number of snaps in both 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills.
This included 17 snaps on offense and 16 on defense in a recent scrimmage.
The extent of Hunter's injury and its impact on his dual-position role remains to be seen.
It is important for Hunter to prioritize his health and avoid aggravating the injury.
The Jaguars coaching staff will need to carefully manage his workload going forward.
The team must consider the potential risks and benefits of playing him on both sides of the ball.
Ultimately, the decision will likely depend on Hunter's recovery and the team's needs.
Green Bay Packers running back Marshawn Lloyd has suffered another hamstring injury, potentially sidelining him for the start of the regular season.
Lloyd exited Saturday's preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts after a 33-yard reception in the second quarter.
Packers coach Matt LaFleur confirmed Lloyd will be out for some time.
This is a continuation of a string of injuries for Lloyd, who missed almost all of his rookie season last year.
He was sidelined by injuries and illness, including a hip injury, hamstring issues, and an ankle injury.
Lloyd also underwent an emergency appendectomy and suffered another hamstring injury following the procedure.
His 2025 debut on Saturday was preceded by a groin injury that kept him out of the first preseason game.
The Packers running backs coach Ben Simmons acknowledged the unusual nature of Lloyd's injury woes.
Rookie defensive lineman Baron Sorrell also sustained a knee injury in the game against the Colts.
LaFleur expects Sorrell to be out for multiple weeks.
Safety Omar Brown remains hospitalized in Indianapolis due to a lung injury sustained during the game.
LaFleur hopes Brown will be discharged soon.
Quarterback Jordan Love, who recently had thumb surgery, may return to practice as early as Monday.
Love did not play in the game but participated in pregame warm-ups, taking precautions with his non-throwing hand.
The Packers are hoping for swift recoveries for their injured players.
These injuries present challenges for the team as they prepare for the regular season.
New York Giants wide receiver Malik Nabers is dealing with a minor back issue, described as normal camp tightness, and has not practiced recently.
Nabers missed the Giants' first 2 preseason games, including their recent win against the New York Jets.
With a tight schedule this week, including their final preseason game against the Patriots, Nabers' return is uncertain.
It is logical to expect Nabers to miss the entire preseason to ensure he is ready for the regular season.
The Giants are being cautious with Nabers, recognizing his importance to their offense.
He has also dealt with a toe injury in the spring and a shoulder issue earlier in the summer.
The Giants have been quiet about injuries, with coach Brian Daboll stating Neighbors is working hard to return.
Left tackle Andrew Thomas is also recovering from surgery and is expected to be ready for Week 1.
Neighbors acknowledge he is following the trainer's plan to ensure he is healthy for the season.
He was seen moving well on the sidelines, a positive sign for his recovery.
Neighbors is crucial to the Giants' offense, having impressive stats last year as a rookie.
His absence is noticeable, and there is no true substitute for his role.
Neighbors has looked dominant in training camp, proving difficult to defend.
Cornerback Paulson Adebo praised Neighbors' skills and versatility as a receiver.
The Giants' offense struggled at times without Neighbors in joint practices with the Jets.
Undrafted rookie Bo Collins showed promise in Neighbors' place, catching a deep pass in the recent game.
Ashton Jeanty made a strong impression in his first National Football League touchdown, showcasing the power that made him a top college running back.
In a preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers, Jeanty bowled over cornerback Diamador Lenoir on a 13-yard run, demonstrating his physicality.
Raiders quarterback Geno Smith praised Jeanty's running style, noting his willingness to engage in contact and predicting a bright future for the rookie.
Despite the Raiders' loss, Jeanty had 7 carries for 33 yards, including a 1-yard touchdown run that gave Las Vegas an early lead.
Jeanty expressed his determination to continue making plays for the team, emphasizing his arrival on the professional scene.
After a quiet performance in the previous week's game against the Seattle Seahawks, Jeanty was impactful against San Francisco, both taking and delivering hits.
On a crucial third down play, Jeanty powered through safety Marcus Sigel for a first down, showcasing his ability to convert in key situations.
Later, Jeanty caught a short pass and took a hard hit from linebacker Luke Gifford, requiring medical attention for a possible concussion.
Jeanty returned to the game on the Raiders' second drive, describing the injury as a minor stinger and expressing his satisfaction at not being knocked down.
Raiders coach Pete Carroll praised Jeanty's toughness and expressed overall satisfaction with the first-team offense's progress.
Against a 49ers defense missing key players, Smith completed 5 of 8 passes for 55 yards and led 2 scoring drives.
Smith distributed the ball to 5 different receivers, including a 28-yard completion to tight end Brock Bowers.
Carroll also commended the offensive line's protection of Smith, who was pressured only twice during the game.
The Raiders started Jordan Meredith at center for the second consecutive week, with Jackson Powers Johnson at right guard.
Carroll praised Meredith's transition from guard to center and acknowledged Powers Johnson's physicality at the guard position.
Carroll expressed confidence in the offensive line changes, believing they will benefit the team in the long run.
The Dallas Cowboys are concerned that wide receiver Jonathan Mingo injured the posterior cruciate ligament in his right knee during Saturday's game against the Baltimore Ravens.
This injury occurred in the third quarter after Mingo made a 49-yard reception and landed awkwardly while attempting to catch another pass.
He left the field and was quickly ruled out of the game.
Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer stated that Mingo would undergo further testing, including an MRI, on Sunday.
This MRI will determine the severity of the injury and how many weeks Mingo might miss.
This injury could impact the Cowboys' 53-man roster decisions for the start of the season.
The Cowboys acquired Mingo and a 7th-round pick in 2025 from the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a 2025 4th-round pick.
In 8 games with the Cowboys last year, Mingo caught 5 passes for 46 yards.
However, he did not catch any passes from starting quarterback Dak Prescott, who was injured for much of the season.
Mingo had a strong offseason in training camp, leading the Cowboys to believe he could be their 4th or 5th wide receiver.
He was also expected to contribute on special teams.
In 2021, former Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott played with a partially torn PCL.
He did not require surgery but wore a brace that limited his performance.
Mingo's potential absence could create opportunities for other receivers like Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, and Ryan Flournoy.
These players are competing for spots behind CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and Kayvontae Turpin.
The Cowboys will need to assess their options and make decisions based on Mingo's prognosis.
When analyzing National Football League rosters, it is important to remember that it is all relative.
It is easy to say a team is in good shape at a particular position, but each unit is only as good as it is relative to the league's 31 other teams.
Objective grading and ranking of each positional unit of all 32 teams can lead to interesting revelations.
This has included likely breakouts of teams such as the 2020 Buccaneers, 2022 Eagles, and 2023 Dolphins.
Here are position-by-position unit rankings for all 32 teams this season, covering the 10 key offensive and defensive groups.
An overall ranking is weighted based on positional importance, for example, quarterback over running back.
Brief outlooks on the best and shakiest units at each position are also included, along with intriguing groups to watch.
These are 2025 rankings rather than long-term outlooks.
At quarterback, Lamar Jackson led all quarterbacks in quarterback rating, adjusted net yards per passing attempt, and expected points added.
Jackson has been an All-Pro for the past 2 seasons and won the National Football League Most Valuable Player in 2019 and 2023.
Derek Carr's retirement has left the Saints in rebuild mode at quarterback.
Second-round rookie Tyler Shaw is the best bet to emerge as a viable starter, possibly more pro-ready than most first years at age 25.
The Minnesota Vikings, with a revived Sam Darnold in 2024, were one of the league's best teams.
Pressure is on 2024 first-round pick J.J. McCarthy to play at a high level in 2025.
At running back, the Lions have a strong duo in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Since 2023, Lions running backs have produced a league-high 5,960 yards and 57 touchdowns.
Running back remained a low priority for Dallas, with Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and rookie Jaden Blue added.
The Los Angeles Chargers replaced their running backs with Najee Harris and first-round pick Omarion Hampton.
At wide receiver, few teams compete with the Bengals' Jamar Chase and T. Higgins pairing.
The Raiders' Jacoby Myers is underrated but lacks proven support.
A healthy Buccaneers wide receiver room would be top tier, but there is uncertainty around Chris Godwin's availability.
At tight end, the Ravens' Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely are ranked among the top 10 tight ends.
The Texans and Eagles engaged in a trade involving players and draft picks previously exchanged between them.
The Texans acquired tight end Harrison Bryant and a 2026 fifth-round pick.
The Eagles received wide receiver John Mechie III and a 2026 sixth-round pick.
This trade represents a classic preseason move where Houston addressed a Philadelphia need.
The Texans had a surplus at wide receiver, making Mechie expendable.
Mechie has had limited impact since his National Football League debut in 2023.
The Eagles, lacking depth at receiver, hope to unlock Mechie's potential.
Bryant was buried on the Eagles' depth chart.
The Dolphins traded for tight end Darren Waller from the Giants.
The Dolphins sent a conditional 2026 sixth-round pick to the Giants.
This is a low-risk move for the Dolphins, addressing their need at tight end.
Waller is 32 years old and has been out of the game for a year.
The Dolphins hope Waller can provide another receiving option for quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
The Giants received a late-round pick in return for Waller.
The trade offers minimal financial risk for the Dolphins.
This trade presents a minimal gain for the Giants.
The National Football League preseason is underway, with teams preparing for the 2025 season.
Teams are making adjustments to their rosters, and we will cover every trade before the season begins on September 4.
Let us start with the significant trade between the Miami Dolphins and Pittsburgh Steelers involving prominent players.
This trade included cornerback Jalen Ramsey, tight end Jonnu Smith, and safety Minkah Fitzpatrick.
More recent trades involved the Philadelphia Eagles and Houston Texans.
The Eagles sent tight end Harrison Bryant to Houston for wide receiver John Mechie III.
The New Orleans Saints also traded defensive tackle Colin Saunders to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars acquired Saunders, who is entering his 7th National Football League season, after a preseason game against the Saints.
Saunders previously played for the Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs.
In exchange, the Saints received center Luke Fortner, a third-round pick in 2022.
The Texans and Eagles exchanged picks they initially traded in the C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade.
Harrison Bryant is entering his 6th season, while John Mechie III is a second-round pick from 2022.
The Las Vegas Raiders traded cornerback Jacorian Bennett to the Philadelphia Eagles for defensive tackle Thomas Booker IV.
Booker, a 5th-round pick in 2022, will add depth to the Raiders' defensive line.
Bennett, a 4th-round pick in 2023, has played 24 games for the Raiders.
Tight end Darren Waller came out of retirement to join the Miami Dolphins.
Mitchell Trubisky returned to Chicago, where he was previously the starting quarterback for the Bears. He is now the backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills and participated in joint practices with the Bears. Trubisky reflected on his time in Chicago and expressed that it is a privilege to be a franchise quarterback. He acknowledged the pressure that comes with the role, especially in a city like Chicago. Trubisky is still striving to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. He spent his first stint with the Bills in 2021 as Josh Allen's backup. Trubisky then played for the Pittsburgh Steelers before returning to Buffalo. He is currently competing with Mike White for the backup quarterback position. Trubisky had a strong preseason performance against the New York Giants. He threw for 138 yards and 1 touchdown pass. Trubisky is focused on improving his accuracy and ball placement. His teammates have praised his consistency and work ethic. Trubisky is comfortable in the Bills' offense and has a good relationship with his teammates. He appreciates the culture and camaraderie within the Bills organization. Bills general manager Brandon Beane expressed confidence in Trubisky's abilities. Trubisky is determined to secure the backup role and continue to improve his game. He cherishes the memories he made in Chicago and hopes to one day share them with his son. Trubisky is grateful for the support he has received from fans throughout his career. Fantasy football drafts prioritize value, but personal preferences also play a role.
This round-by-round analysis provides insights into strategic draft day decisions.
Average draft position data ensures the roadmap is applicable to most leagues.
The first round often involves selecting the best available player.
Bijan Robinson is a highly desirable pick in the first round if available.
Other running backs in the first round present more significant concerns.
Elite wide receivers like Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb are strong alternatives.
Jonathan Taylor is a target in the second round, depending on draft position.
Other running backs like Devin Achane or Nico Collins are also viable.
Targeting a top tight end like Trey McBride in the third round offers an advantage.
McBride has shown impressive fantasy production since becoming a starter.
Alternatively, wide receivers or James Cook are good options in round 3.
Round 4 focuses on dual-threat quarterbacks like Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts.
These quarterbacks provide significant rushing contributions.
James Conner is a solid fifth-round pick despite his age.
Conner has consistently performed as a top 20 fantasy running back.
Liz Loza explains her reasoning for ranking Raiders rookie Ashton Jeanty higher than Eagles running back Saquon Barkley in fantasy football drafts.
This draft guide from ESPN Fantasy offers various resources to help fantasy players prepare for their drafts.
The guide includes rankings, cheat sheets, player projections, mock drafts, and expert analysis.
It caters to players of all experience levels, from seasoned veterans to first-time participants.
The guide provides rankings for different league formats, including Superflex, individual defensive player, and dynasty leagues.
It also features tiered rankings for each position, offering insights into player value and draft strategy.
Mock drafts for various league types are available, allowing players to practice and refine their draft strategies.
The guide also offers advice and analysis on sleepers, busts, breakouts, and undervalued players.
It includes articles discussing players to target and avoid in drafts, along with potential league winners.
The guide also provides insights into players who might exceed or fall short of expectations.
It covers various draft strategies and tips for different league formats, such as salary cap and individual defensive player leagues.
Individual player analysis is also provided, including discussions on specific players and their fantasy potential.
The guide addresses injury outlooks for key players, providing updates on their recovery and potential impact on their fantasy value.
It also offers miscellaneous features, such as team name generators and information on new features in the ESPN Fantasy application.
That's a wrap on this week's NFL Blitz Talk. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time with more gridiron fire and fearless breakdowns.